15 years ago, when I lived in Germany, there were two drinks that were ubiquitous with the arrival of the warm weather. An Aperol Spritz and a Hugo would be seen on every table of every cafe and bar outside on the sidewalk. That's what everyone in Munich drank. And at the time, when I would travel from Munich back to the States, I didn't really see any Aperol Spritzes here. And I sure didn't see any Hugos. Well, what has changed is everyone here knows what an Aperol Spritz is. That has been brought over and has become a part of our culture. But I have been very surprised that the Hugo has not made its debut here in America. So I would like to be that person. I would like to share with you my favorite drink that I learned about in Munich. So for a Hugo, it's H-U-G-O. So I used to say Hugo and they would say, wie bitte? And then I learned Hugo. This is what it is. It's delicious. It's so fresh and it's really like a wonderful summer cocktail. What you need for a Hugo is elderflower syrup. Now, this specific bottle is elderflower and mint, sorry. I said minze because minze is mint in German. So elderflower in German is Holunderblüte. And Holunderblüte are the little white elderflowers on the tree, which are taken from the tree and then cooked in sugar syrup, and that's bottled. So that's not easy to find. And I have to say, it's very different than elderflower liqueur. You should not use elderflower liqueur for this drink. Don't use Saint Germain. That's not what this drink is. You really need elderflower syrup. And all it is a sugar syrup that's flavored with elderflower. It looks like this. As I said, this has a little bit of mint in it as well, but the plain elderflower syrup is what you want. You can find it online. I will put a link in the description of this video so you can easily find it. And it lasts for quite a few drinks because you don't need a lot of it. Elderflower syrup, Prosecco, sparkling water, ice, lime, and mint. I'm going to get my Prosecco out of the fridge. I'm just going to make a little one here. So I have a tiny, tiny bottle of Prosecco. And then I need a glass. So in Munich, at many of the bars, they'll make it in a wine glass like this. So I have some mint that I have washed. I like to store the mint like this. I buy it from the store and bring it home, wash it all. I pull the leaves off the bottom part of the stem because you don't want leaves sitting in water. That will make the water all murky. Then I just put the mint in a glass and put this in the fridge. Keeps it fresh and it looks pretty. So what they do in Munich is they take out a couple stems of mint and then they just sort of smack them in their hands. Like that. And it'll release the smell of the mint. And then they put this at the bottom of the glass. Now, I'm just going to break off these stems so that there's not a lot of stem in there. The reason why I've left it on the stem instead of taking the leaves and breaking the leaves up is as the ice melts, the leaves will start to find their way into your mouth and it becomes very uncomfortable. So you don't want that. You want the flavor of the mint, but you don't want it to get in your mouth. The next thing I'm going to do is just slice my lime. So I'm actually going to use 2 wedges of lime. And this is when I'm making this at home, this is what I do. I take some lime and I squeeze some in the glass first to really get lime juice in there. And then I use a second wedge for my garnish. It's great that these Prosecco bottles come in various sizes because sometimes I'm just making this for myself in the summertime. Or sometimes there's just one other very lucky person who is sharing the evening with me in my apartment, so I'll be making two, so I would just buy the next size up. And if I'm having a party, then people, when they ask, like, what do you want me to bring? I'll say, can you bring a bottle of Prosecco? And I'll make Hugo's for everybody. I love doing this because no one knows what this drink is. And when they have it, like everyone that has come here in the summertime and had a Hugo, they've been kind of blown away. So I really am shocked that no one has brought this over here. Like no restaurateur has brought this over here. Maybe this will change all of that. You just remember who told you how to make a Hugo. So what we do, you pour the Prosecco into the glass gently. Okay, about that much. Then I add my Hollanderblüte syrup, the elderflower syrup, about a tablespoon. And you can adjust that to taste because it is sweet. So if you don't want it too sweet, just reduce the amount of elderflower syrup. Now I'm going to add my ice. So maybe a bigger spoon. The ice that I like to use, so I don't want to be fussy about this because this is not a fussy drink. You can make this drink easily, but I have to say that I don't use ice cubes from like an ice cube tray when I'm making cocktails. I like to actually buy the ice from the corner store, from the bodega, in the bag and keep that in my freezer. It's smaller pellets of ice. You see, and this is like, it makes a difference. You can use ice cubes. Ice cubes are fine, but I find that the texture of this ice changes the drink, and it makes it just feels more elegant when the ice cubes are not discernible cubes. Eiswürfel. Okay, and I top that up with sparkling water. I have to show you this wonderful thing. Look at this Caddy. I found this years ago and it was empty. It was sitting on the floor of an antique shop and I was like, what is that thing? I thought, oh, it's for wine bottles or some kind of bottles, maybe milk bottles. I brought it home and ever since I put the sparkling water in here and just leave it on the ground. And even when it's like sitting on the ground, it just looks so beautiful. So, wir brauchen ein bisschen, nur ein kleines bisschen. Okay. Now, you stir it. But as my friend Angela in Munich said once, you have to stir it very slowly because you don't want the bubbles to go away. So she was very gentle. I used to be very vigorous with this. And she said, no, Rajiv. Just a little stir. Okay. And then the lime wedge can go over here, but I actually like to just give it another little squeeze and put it in there. That, my dear friends, is what I think the perfect summer cocktail, a Hugo. Delightful. Try it yourself. Let me know what you think.